mode.
Hello and good afternoon. I'm Chloe Rigby, editor of InternetRetailing.net, and I'd like to welcome you to today's e-delivery webinar, 7 Steps to Building State-of-the-Art Delivery Operations in association with Bring. Over the next hour, we'll be hearing from Ralan Cohen, co-founder and chief executive of Bring, as he takes us through the essential steps to improving delivery operations, from streamlining processes to customizing the customer experience. At the end, we'll move into a Q&A session, so ahead of that, let me explain how to ask any questions that you may have. On the control panel on your screen, you'll see a chat box. Write your question in that box and press send, and we will aim to get to as many questions as we can today. The session is recorded, so I'd remind you too that after the webinar finishes, we'll be sending out an email with a link so that you can watch it again whenever is convenient to you. So, without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Ralan Cohen, co-founder and chief executive of Bring. Ralan, welcome to the webinar.
Thanks, Chloe. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. For those of you that are familiar with me or with Bring, this is a session, a more advanced session following a webinar and discussions that we had around Amazon changing the rules and how to cope with that, what's going on in the market. So this session today is moving from what is happening, why does it impact our industry, into how to react and what actually can be done about that. And so following a few context slides, I will jump right into items from our experience with customers from all around the world, and what are they utilizing, and etc. So I'd like to start first with one thing we keep reminding ourselves, that the world and the customers, they don't really care about logistics technology. In today's world, it's all about the customer, and the customers, they want to receive their items fast, in a frictionless manner, and this is driving the entire disruption. Well, in addition to the customers becoming more demanding, there are new services that are providing this kind of standards. So we're facing ourselves in one of the biggest disruptions of the industry, where this is becoming a key element, the delivery, how the customers are receiving what they ordered. This is a key decision process in their buying parameters, and we need to cope with that. And the friction with the customers is in several dimensions. So obviously, phone calls are the number one friction point with customers. So discussing with customer service, discussing with dispatchers. Obviously, we have the delivery person, and including internally in the corporate, in the company, management. So all these elements, we need to work them out. So again, the trigger that led to what's going on now are these two forces. One, customers that are becoming more demanding, more empowered, and the other force coming from companies like Amazon, that through their innovative technology are providing the market and the customers very high standards of service, and now it is for the rest of the world to level up. So I'll jump right to it. So what I'm going to talk about are 7 elements that reflect optimized delivery operations. I'll run through each one of them. So I'll start with streamlining processes. So with the increasing pace of innovation, when it comes to the last mile and deliveries, there's a situation where we need to move fast and remain competitive. Having a centralized system enables to orchestrate and to manage the various types of information, whether orchestrating internal resources, external resources, etc. So this is a kind of analogy of the operating system in our computers, where today we are in the days of the pre-operating system. So optimizing the assignment and the dispatch in today's world, we need to optimize, and the optimize is a word that needs to be based on context. So sometimes we optimize based on the ideal route. Sometimes we optimize for time. Some cases we will need to optimize for price. Other cases optimize for service level, and the list can go on. And the thing is that, again, in today's world, we want to be able to do this context-based optimizations in real time. So think about it when we are about to deliver something. What is the optimized channel and model to distribute it? This can be something that changed at real time. So sorted deliveries, obviously, in the local last mile element, we need to be able in a very efficient way to sort them, to stage them, barcode scanning, etc. This should be very smooth, and obviously enable fast scanning throughout the entire chain of custody and the proof of delivery. And last in this streamlining element is to provide customer visibility. Now, visibility, this is something, and when we talk to customers, in 90% of the cases, companies believe that they provide visibility to their customers. The thing is that this visibility, what is visibility? This is something that has dramatically changed in the last few years. So from receiving email notifications or text-based notifications, customers today expect a much higher visibility option, real-time tracking on the last mile on the map, frictionless visibility, meaning non-intrusive visibility, etc. So the visibility standard has also changed, and we need to provide it regardless if we are using our own internal resources or third parties. The customers expect it from us. So moving to the second item, improving efficiency. So the second step starts where the drivers are on the road, and we're looking for ways to improve the efficiency of the deliveries and the handoff between the business and the customer. So this creates a level of operational efficiency required to meet these new markets demand. So we need, obviously, inventory tracking. It needs to be extended all the way through the last mile, and we need to be able to have this kind of tracking throughout the entire flow of the item. Driver visibility, so creating visibility across the last mile improves the efficiency and the cost of the operation. Now, using a centralized system that includes all the location data, whether it's internal, external, third parties, etc., this again enables real-time optimizations based on this data, based on the actual real-time locations of this driver. So real-time is a term I use quite often, and again, today in our world, we need to be super efficient. Super efficient translates to having real-time data, as close to real-time data as possible. This comes in hand, obviously, when handling on-demand orders, but same goes for scheduled orders. Obviously, when we take into account situations like returns, having real-time data is the key for this entire pyramid. Now, again, today, in order to have wide coverage and in order to be optimized, the world is moving more and more to use additional resources, third-party resources in different locations or for different services. So enabling this centralized platform that manages these different third parties. Sometimes it's different third parties in different models. We can have in a certain location a local delivery company. In other locations, we can have crowdsource-based solutions, and a mix of them all. There is a very low glass ceiling into managing them by direct integration. Putting in place a centralized platform that enables optimized management of them increases the efficiency. It enables to add, remove, adjust different third parties while the wheels are in motion in a seamless way to the customers. Again, this increases our efficiency and options. So adding on-demand assignment, again, it increases our efficiency. Once we have the data and the visibility of all our resources, we can utilize this information in order to issue on-demand assignments. Again, whether they are deliveries or returns, this is a capability that is another layer in improving our efficiency. And lastly, in general, the proof of delivery used to be on collecting signatures. In many cases, it's not enough for some businesses. We need to be able to have a time stamp, a geo stamp based on locations. Sometimes it needs to be attached to a picture that is used as proof of delivery. So having a system that enables a time, geo-stamping, a picture, signature, this combination is a new level of the POD that is going. So the third step, here we talk about visibility, both internal and external. So the ability to communicate and track the fleet, and the ability for the customers to track their deliveries, this will not work if we do not have this kind of across-the-board visibility of all the moving parts. Obviously, this needs to be done in a smart way. Just as an example, we do not provide the customers the real-time map tracking if they are the 10th stop on a route with 10 stations, right? In this kind of cases, sometimes we configure the system to provide what we call a tap on the shoulder. Earlier that day, your package will arrive at a certain time slot, and once we get closer to this time slot, closer to this customer, we provide the link with the real-time data, the real-time view of these kind of deliveries, which is, by the way, this is the most crucial part for the customers to have this kind of visibility. What we're realizing is that is becoming very valuable is accurate tracking and measuring of the mileage that the drivers go. This has implication on payments to drivers, this compensation. This has implications on optimizing and I would say monitoring the actual operation. And so having the ability to measure it and enable proactive alerts when things are out of the benchmark, this is also an important element on the visibility. And last but certainly not least, one of the greatest friction points in the delivery process is having customers contacting you. Again, phone calls or others. Full visibility enables the service people, the customer support people, to provide this kind of information to customers before they even start to get frustrated. So if we notice that someone is about to be late or someone is out of their route, we can initiate interaction with the customers. Again, completing that, once customers have this visibility, again, it's a totally different experience than waiting, even in cases when packages are coming in late. So providing this kind of visibility works in both ways, both for the operation and customer support personnel, as well as the customers. So the next step is about communication. So communication, again, this is another example of something that has dramatically changed in the recent years. So everyone has communication with the customers. However, the way customers want to be communicated today is different. The new generation obviously prefers to avoid voice communications, looking for less intrusive ways to communicate. We also want to be able to provide customized communications. For example, we may want to interact differently with a first-time customer compared to a veteran, returning customers. First-time customers we may want to more frequently communicate with throughout the flow of the delivery, while returning customers can have reduced interactions, etc. So communicating with the customers, enabling communicate them in new ways by providing visibility or by having digital communication, these are things that are key today. And again, we want to reduce as much as we can the friction points. So, and I'll touch that later, but we are all familiar with the scenario when a delivery arrives and to do this last mile negotiations when someone is not at the door, finding the exact place, where are you? These kind of interactions, they can be avoided by providing digital visibility, by providing digital ways to communicate. So effective communication is key, reducing failed deliveries, etc. Now, the point number 5, the step number 5, this is key. And in today's world, and we're all familiar with it with Amazon and other services, the ability to customize is key. The one-size-fits-all approach doesn't cut it in our days and age, and this new customer-centric mindset means that companies need to prioritize not only what customers want, but also when, where, and how they want it. Now this means that companies need to be able to deliver personalized experiences at scale, since the delivery of any digital purchase is just as important as the product itself. And the terms of delivery need to be just as customizable as the products themselves. So when you think about it here, there are 2 issues that we need to focus on. So the first is the customer loyalty. The ability to mass customize communications means that companies have a huge opportunity to build deeper and more meaningful relationships with their customers. For example, you may want to trigger a specific promotion to reward frequent use by informing a driver that they're about to deliver to a VIP customer, or share behavioral data with the headquarters to identify segments with special potential of growth. So everything you need in order to take extra care of your most loyal users. So creating the second issue is finding how to transform your deliveries into unique experience. So in order to better understand and delight the customers, this involved running promotions and targeted campaigns that are geared to generating revenue and satisfying the customers, but also acknowledging that their priorities are the customers' priorities as well, the company's priorities as well, right? So we don't want to spam them with promotions that are not relevant. We want to be able to provide our customers this tailored customer experience. These customizations, these two elements of loyalty and creating these unique experiences are based on the fact that we are able to digitalize our supply chain. Once we digitalize, we collect the data, we have the insights, and based on them, we can create these unique experiences and increase the customer loyalty. So we've touched customer loyalty in the previous slide, but I want to dig a bit deeper since it's such an important issue. So research has shown that up to 15% of a business' most loyal customers account for 55 to 70% of its total sales. So you should make sure every touch point is as memorable as possible. Now, delivery technology provides ever more touch points to engage customers through instant communication and visibility with drivers. Practically, this is today's front window or doorstep of our shops, the delivery. So first, let's think about where the loyalty lies, right? If you're looking to scale your deliveries using external delivery companies, you need to consider whether the customer will have your brand in mind, or will they think of the delivery service first? So just as an example, when I'm ordering Amazon and whatever I ordered is in the process of heading my way, in my perception as a customer, I have in mind that Amazon is delivering it, right? I don't think if it's UPS, FedEx, if it's an Amazon delivery guy, if it's a crowdsource operation that they have, or if it's a local partner that they use. They wrap the entire delivery experience with their brand and enable me as a customer to realize that I'm communicating with the company, with the brand. So this is the target that we are looking for. So while using third parties, we still want to maintain owning this customer experience and ideally enabling our customers to have this kind of perception and abstract from them the fact that this is done by these third parties. Right. So second, again, today with e-commerce, online shopping, the delivery is the face of the company. In the delivery process, right, there's no waiters or cashiers. The delivery is actually the customer-facing option that customers see our brand, and we need to be able to leverage on that rather than have this kind of limitation. So wrapping this delivery with your brand or your customer's brand is a way to interact, because what we do have here is we do have a digital path to our customers, and we can utilize it to change the fact that there's no storefront, there's no front window, into an advantage. Finally, we need to consider the physical experience. Since we are not in a controlled store environment, some brands are getting very creative in order to ensure that deliveries are still a memorable experience. So, for example, a high-end designer brands may gift wrap every online purchase and include in the retail bag with the parcel. Other retailers include stickers and freebies as a gesture meant to delight. So customers, when they receive the purchase, this is a great opportunity to leverage on this delivery fact. So step number 7. So here, it's last but definitely not least, we will review the issue of cost. Again, being efficient, being optimized, an important element of that is cost. And as customer demand for delivery speed and flexibility grows, now companies must find new ways to make their last mile operations as lean and as cost effective as possible. So there are several steps that can be taken in order to keep the cost down. So, and this is a big challenge because on one side, we have the demands are keep growing, right? Delivery times get narrowing, customers expecting more. And on the other hand, this immediately implies an additional cost. So cost is a very important element in that. We need to be able to have an operation that is sustainable. Customers being happy is mandatory, but we need to make the economics work. So first, warehouse space, as well as the storage types and locations, have significant impact on costs. And while few companies can create their own urban warehousing networks, so like front warehouses, dark warehouses, etc., in order to ensure fast customer deliveries, most others can rent spaces within existing networks. So we've seen this with various customers practically lease a kind of real estate within existing locations to be utilized as front warehouses. This enables an operation of doing the hyper-local deliveries from these front or dark warehouses while maintaining the rest of the deliveries, pushing product forward. Second, the number of individual SKUs and packaging needs and order fulfillment time and the number of orders are at the heart of any delivery operation, right? So right now, the way to streamline this process is by finding ways to make each aspect more efficient. But in the near future, this could become much simpler with fulfillment distribution, so that everyone can fulfill orders from manufacturers and 3PLs to a Uber-like network of independent packers and drivers and the parcel shippers. So third, inefficient route planning based on time frame and then order size and mileage, they present hidden costs that can quickly add up. So you need to pay attention because fuel and driver costs can easily get out of hand. So providing your customers with great service shouldn't come at the expense of a company's ability to remain profitable. And finally, the goals of supply chain visibility and adaptability to customer needs have a huge impact on costs. So luckily, there is a wave of innovation in supply chain that is providing companies with the ability to track, manage, optimize, etc. on the last mile. Now, for obvious reasons, these solutions are quickly becoming a must-have for anyone that wants to remain relevant and profitable. So investing in technology, we see this is something that is becoming a top priority in most players that are in the business. So now that we've gone through the 7 steps, so I'd like to quickly summarize, right? So the e-commerce revolution has turned the traditional supply chain on its head. So as the shift to online continues, and we know that this is just the beginning, just like most of you are familiar with the fact, which surprises most of the people I interact with, that e-commerce today, as much as it's blooming and the numbers are huge, in the US modern market, it's still under 8%, right? Online groceries is under 3%. So these are huge numbers, fast growing, but it's still the beginning. And it's growing very fast, it's moving very fast. So this demand to cope up with this new requirements will only get stronger. So although there's no silver bullets that can immediately and quickly solve all the issues, creating efficiencies throughout the supply chain, this is the direction that can take you towards finding these solutions. So investing in this kind of infrastructure. Again, we need to keep in mind that the newcomers to our industry, whether Amazon or others, they invested tens and hundreds of millions of dollars in technology that practically enables them to roll out these kind of capabilities. So today, leveraging on technology is becoming key. So I'm zooming out a bit. So like the two North Stars, right, that are showing us the way, or if you'd like the magic sauce here, is on one hand we have the operational efficiency, right? We need the streamlined operations, real-time visibility, optimizations, etc. On the other hand, we need to provide this ultimate customer experience, this new modern experience that the customers expect today. Combining these are the North Stars. We want to satisfy our customers, and we want to have very advanced operational capabilities. If we manage to move our operations to get high results in these two elements, this combination, this is the magic formula that takes us to this logistical excellence. So one dimension to look at that, and I'll just briefly run through this diagram that we see here, and before wrapping up the part of the presentation. On the bottom of the slide, we have various delivery channels and resources. We have internal fleet, we have third parties, we have crowdsource, we have contractors, and as time moves on, there will be additional elements: drones, robots, autonomous cars. There will be a variety of channels that could be utilized for delivery in different geographical areas, in different requirements. We want to be able in real time to make decisions on who do we utilize. So as this grows, we need a platform in the middle that enables us to orchestrate these different resources in real time, enable us to add and remove additional resources while the operation is moving, the wheels are in motion. And this platform serves as an abstraction layer to our customers. So again, providing our customers this ultimate customer experience, visibility, communication, frictionless experience, regardless of the channel that is actually doing the delivery. This kind of platform is pretty much like an operating system that has various elements from tracking, dispatching, proof of delivery, route optimization. It's an API-based platform, which means that it can integrate with existing systems. There's no need to reshuffle or restart the entire IT. It comes as an add-on, integrates with existing systems. It is modular in a sense where you can choose which elements you want to use and which elements you have other systems, maybe legacy systems. And it is customizable, so all the customer-facing elements, of course, are branded and configured. Another important factor of such platforms is the ability to evolve, to adapt, and to enable rolling out additional models, additional capabilities. So a very modern, open, and agile platform. This is the layer that enables this kind of efficiencies. So before handing it back to Chloe for Q&A, so just a few words again on Bring and on the context for those who are not familiar with us. So Bring is a customer-centric logistics platform. We have customers all around the world using it. So we are software only, right? We do not provide trucks or drivers. We provide the technology that enables this. We have customers from various industries, obviously logistics, retail, e-commerce, food delivery, all around the world, headquartered in Chicago with additional offices. And at this point, I would like to hand it back to Chloe and be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Raanan, for what I think was a very interesting presentation with lots of detail. So we have had a few questions coming in. Before we start in on our Q&A session, just a quick reminder about how to ask a question. On the control panel on your screen, you'll see a chat box. Write your question there and press send. We will aim to answer as many questions as we can today, but if we don't get to yours, we'll follow up offline later. So first question today is, Raanan, realistically, how long would it take and how many resources are needed to implement your suggestions in an average organization?
Okay, so that's a good one. Today, technology is key. However, companies are pretty much overwhelmed with the variety of technology solutions in different elements. So, we had this in mind, and I would say the pain point of starting or trying in many cases is too painful. And what we created is pretty much a platform that you can start testing in a matter of days. We have Fortune 500 companies that started the operation in a matter of weeks. The ideal, and this is how we architecture the solution, is to have a very agile approach. Usually we recommend starting very lean and narrow, choosing a limited geographical area, limited functionality, limited integration. Run this for a few weeks, collect the data points, and reiterate, optimize, and configure. And while doing that, growing and increasing the rollout. This kind of a model enables a very easy, fast start, and while collecting the learning points along the way. I think that in today's world, the days of planning a 3-year deployment plan with an ultimate configuration that can take us a few years ahead, these days are less relevant today. Today, we need to understand, okay, this is the vision and where we are going. We want a very easy starting point. So we put a lot of effort in enabling this kind of mechanism. So starting to use the platform, again, can be a matter of days or weeks. And from that, going full scale into full implementation of again, Fortune 500 companies, probably a couple of months, 3 months. While doing that time, the service is operating. So this is kind of like ballpark scale of implementation time.
That's great. Quick question about part 5, which was the point about customizing the experience. In that section of the presentation, you mentioned that retailers should be able to provide behavioral data. there was a quick question about what do you mean about behavioral data?
Okay, so I'll jump back to it. Okay, so here, we want to be able to get, on one hand, customer feedback, right? We see customers, companies that say, yes, we send surveys or we ask our customers and we utilize this information. In a modern world like today, we want to be able to analyze based on the customer's behavior, how was the experience? And this can be done, and just some examples, right? If we monitor the number of interactions, if we monitor what interactions took in place, and a few more elements, we can score this, and out of this compilation of data, we can understand in a pretty good accuracy how was the experience of this customer. So this is one dimension. How good was the experience? Another dimension is we want to analyze and see what was important for the customer. Was it monitoring or was it tracking it in real time? Was it the communication? Again, based on this digital footprint, once we have our supply chain, our deliveries system digitalized, collecting these data points enable us to categorize the behavior of our customers and to provide them, again, this customized customer experience based on what we analyzed. Again, so this is a second degree of customization. We're not asking the customers what they want or what they prefer. We do that based on analysis of their behavior through the digital footprint.
That's great. Thanks for that explanation. The next question is quite long, but I'm going to paraphrase it. You spoke mostly about delivery to the home. What are your thoughts on delivery to alternative points, such as automated lockers, where consumers can pick up their parcel in seconds and never have to wait for a parcel? The suggestion is this kind of solution might address many of the points that you've mentioned.
Yeah, so first we have customers that use lockers, front warehouses, pickup locations. We have a variety of examples that this helps with many of the elements. So is this the ultimate solution? We don't think it's the ultimate solution. The ultimate solution in an ideal world is that as a customer, I would just order something and it will find me. Regardless where I am, there will be no addresses, no tracking numbers. It will find me and I could track it. Until we will get to this ultimate experience, there are workarounds. Workarounds could be lockers. Workarounds could be putting the parcels inside your home with smart locks or inside the cars. But these are workarounds that are trying to solve problems in this delivery experience. We think that they have a place, but also in these kind of solutions, in today's world, customers still want this advanced customer experience. So although I will pick up my parcel from a locker, I would still want to know, ideally, as close to real time as possible, when it will arrive, when it is ready for me. I want to be able to have some kind of convenient communication, etc. So we see these models as again another element in the deliveries. We don't think it's again, it's a one solution that fits all. We've seen in some cases, by the way, solutions that enable any location to be like a virtual locker. So imagine that any moms and pop shop or a convenience store could be used as a front warehouse or a pickup location, and the customers could go around and pick up their parcels and almost anywhere in their neighborhood. So having a platform that enables these kind of models opens the options, in addition to physical lockers that have limited scale, to using this kind of solution or workaround in a more scalable manner.
That's great. And another question now about future technologies, really. How would autonomous vehicles impact your service?
Okay, so yeah, I touched it in a bit, but I'll elaborate now. So we are seeing more and more delivery options come along, right? So we have trucks and we have vans and we have bicycle riders and bikes and we have walkers, and we have drones coming in and robots and autonomous cars as well. These are more elements that are making the ecosystem more complex, and that they are increasing the need to have an advanced centralized platform for managing them. So again, there will not be a one resource or one channel or one solution that will be the sole solution across the board. Obviously, you have different customers that are receiving their parcels in different locations, dense cities, rural areas, etc. So there will be a variety of options. Again, we're going back to the efficiency and optimization. In order to be fully optimized and fully efficient, we need to be able to use the best optimized resource at the best optimized time. We had customers that used to rely for their deliveries, for example, on services like Uber or others. Again, this has a glass ceiling on how much you can optimize once you use one single resource across the board. So autonomous cars will be another resource, a great resource that could be used. In order to use it in the most optimized manner, we need to add it to the available resources in our ecosystem, and to have the ability to dispatch orders to this channel when it is the most optimized option.
That's great. Thank you, Alan. Just to let you all know that we're slightly running out of time here, and if we don't get to your question, then we will follow up after the session. But I think we have time for one or two more questions. This question is, can you give a couple of examples of companies with state-of-the-art delivery operations and how they are using them?
So, okay, so I will go to the big A, that, for example, Amazon. So Amazon, and again, as we see the world, there are many Amazons. Okay, there's in each industry, which are companies like highly funded technological service providers. It could be Amazon, could be Uber, Google, and others, that through their massive investments in technology, they developed themselves this superior delivery capabilities. So a company like Amazon has an operation where they are able to utilize different channels. It could be 3PLs, UPS, FedEx. It could be local delivery companies, from established mid-sized companies to even, two guys, a man with a van. In addition to that, they have a crowdsource operations. They have their own delivery guys. Many people don't know that there are Amazon delivery guys on payroll. So they have a variety of channels, and on top of that, they have their platform that provides them real-time data, real-time decision-making process, and they use this in order to deliver through the best optimized channel. And again, we're talking about deliveries. There could be same day or on-demand kind of deliveries, but they could also be scheduled deliveries. No matter what the delivery model is, this kind of architectures enables to be very efficient and optimized. The second element to that is that they utilize this in order to reflect this to their customers. So customers that are expecting deliveries have visibility across the board. Again, it's seamless and abstract who is actually doing the delivery. So the digital communication is based on the Amazon brand. And so this kind of capabilities is based on the platform that enables full visibility, real-time data, real-time decision-making process, very frictionless customer experience. And obviously, Amazon specifically, they're using it for their own brand, right? They do not take it to the next level of promoting the brands of the products that they are delivering. So when I'm receiving a product as a customer, if I ordered Nike shoes or whatever, I would still have the Amazon experience, right? It's not that Nike is the one that's owning the experience. So this is kind of different touch point, but this is kind of the risk reward of using a third-party aggregator. So this kind of architecture is very, very advanced. But we are seeing, I'll just give another example of one of the largest 3PLs that is using, in this case, is using Bring. What they did is they deployed like nationwide, like front warehouses. It's real estate that they leased from convenience stores and others. And what they do is they drop off the local deliveries of this certain area in this front store. And for these front stores, they have a local delivery guys that are assigned each to their own front store. They come in, they pick up the hyper-local packages, and they do this hyper-local delivery. So in this kind of model, they were able to increase the efficiency of this last mile by utilizing, creating this local delivery, kind of a model which other customers of us use, is delivering from stores. Stores that you have a widespread in various locations, you can use them as delivery options. So this is kind of examples of very advanced delivery operations that we're seeing.
That's great. And then, as I mentioned, just time, I think, for one final question. So what are your main growth areas, industries, trends, geographies, etc.? Asks the questioner.
Okay, so Bring, our main market, which we started, is the US. Following that, Europe. So we have customers in the three main industries are retail and e-commerce. Second to that is food and restaurant delivery. And third, logistics, so 3PLs. So I would say US and Europe are our main markets. In the recent year, we have received also, I would say, inbound interest from many other territories. So currently we have customers in over 50 countries, including Latin America, Asia, Africa, so pretty much all around the world. Again, we see our place in the world. The big picture is that the Amazons, these new techie retailers and service providers, They have set new rules, and we see our place as the technology that enables the rest of the world, whether it's retailers, logistics providers, food brands, the rest of the world, to level up with these new standards. In today's world, no one wants to be the blockbuster or the Nokia of this age. Again, it's still early with e-commerce under 10%, but it's moving very fast, and we believe that just not too many years from now, we would look back, and every player in the world that delivers something to customers will have these kind of capabilities. The ones that will not have these kind of capabilities will be out of the game. And the gap from where companies are today and where the industry is going is based on technology. And this is technology that needs to compete with the high-end Silicon Valley-like huge technological providers. So this is what we've built. We built a platform that provides leveling up and completing this technological gap.
That's great. Thank you very much for that final answer. As I mentioned, that's all the questions that we have time for today, but if we haven't got to yours during the course of the webinar, then Bring will follow up afterwards to give you the answers that you need. So I'd like to end the webinar today by thanking you all for listening. I'd like to thank our speaker, Raanan Cohen, co-founder and chief executive of Bring. Raanan, thank you very much for being with us today. We will follow up by email with the link to the on-demand webinar, which you can listen again to at your convenience. So thanks once again to all of you for taking part in this webcast, and goodbye.